Welcome back to GearCheckGames. This is episode 20 of our Pokemon Red playthrough, and Catch Quest continues, but in a different place than you might think, because we gotta go storm a dungeon.
Oh, are we going to Seafoam?
We might, but there's another dungeon, way up north, that we gotta take on.
For a second, I forgot that you nicknamed your Dratini Bagon. I was like, wait a minute, what gen are we playing?
He's there to mess with your mind, Joe.
No.
Bagon's going to be a very crucial member of our team later. There may be a part later where he gets to show off his versatility.
Well, yeah, I would say the stats don't really come into their own until his final stage, but Dragonair and Dratini at least learn a lot of different moves. Or, okay, not naturally, but they can learn a variety of different moves, so they're good for coverage if you just kind of need a good sixth Pokemon to plug into your team.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like you said, because he can learn such a variety of TMs, and his stats, they're better than most, but they're very middle ground-ish once he's in his second form.
Well, I think part of what's frustrating to me about leveling up Dratini and Dragonair is just how slowly they level up.
Mm-hmm.
That coupled with how kind of middling their stats are, just kind of just makes it kind of painful to kind of level them normally with the rest of your team. Usually if I raise a Dragonite at any point in Pokemon, it's after I've got the Pokemon League beaten, and I'm just doing it for multiplayer.
I think that's part of the reason that my brain was hey, maybe I should get the experience share. It'll bring all my team up to the right level to fight the Elite Four, so I won't have to do any unnecessarily grinding. Even though that same time investment is just me catching extra Pokemon.
Yeah.
I wasn't smart.
It's the same time investment, just minus the going through the menus to switch out Pokemon mid-battle.
Yeah.
Which, honestly, that's kind of a big time save anyway. But
yeah.
It's less, annoying to have to do it constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, if I'm being honest, I kind of enjoyed the whole, I hesitate to say strategy, but, I don't know. An extra bit of, thinking about it and interactivity of, picking your Pokemon and switching them out to give experience to different ones. It actually implied it actually, required some thought and planning rather than just, I don't know, turning on an item.
Well, yeah, that ultimately to me, that's why I'm not the biggest fan of what they did to the EXP share in Gen 6 and onward. I'm never going to advocate grinding is the best way to level up your Pokemon, but if you just flip a switch and all of a sudden you don't even have to use your Pokemon in battle to level them up, it's just, I don't know, I don't get as attached to my Pokemon if I'm not actually physically leveling them up.
Yeah.
And to be fair, most Pokemon go... Oh, we're going to the power plant. Okay.
Yeah.
To be fair, most Pokemon go through a period anyway where you kind of have to switch train them or EXP share train them before they're ready to battle by themselves.
Yeah, before they're up to snuff.
When you do that just passively with your entire team, I don't know. Just to me that feels like you'd be missing out on some of the fun if you chose to play that way. But
yeah.
I don't know.
Well, to me, like you said, I think switching them out like that, it adds the strategy, and like you said, it's fun. It makes you figure out new ways to do battles, and there's some battles where you're man, I'm way underleveled, but I might be able to beat it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a self-challenge.
Yeah.
Well, not necessarily. Not to hype it up too much. Most of the times. Pretty much 99% of the time, it just comes down to you start out with the Pokemon you need to get experience, and then you switch to the actual Pokemon you need on the first turn. But there are still some of those moments where you're maybe I can actually do this battle with this Pokemon that's kind of under-equipped for it, and then you kind of have that battle where you're kind of it's a bit more down to the wire than it normally would be if you picked the most effective Pokemon to do that.
Well, yeah, it incentivizes you to like challenge yourself because your reward will be greater.
Yeah.
Than if you just just pick the Pokemon that's strong against who you're fighting.
Yeah, rather than it just being like a waiting game of like, all right, I've done enough battles for this Pokemon to actually become usable now.
Yeah. It's like a turning point. It's like a sense of achievement.
Yeah.
So I've always kind of wondered, since we're outside the power plant, why is there always this one like awkward guard guy sitting out here?
He thinks the door's locked.
Yeah.
Like he never bothered to try it himself. He was just told it's locked. You can't get in. Well, I guess I'll just wait for someone to come along.
Like honestly, he had a really good team to take on the dungeon because he has a ground type and a sustain type, normal type.
Yeah.
So
Is the power plant the only place where you can catch Electabuzz in this game?
Yeah, Electabuzz, and you can catch Magnetons in there, and wild Electrodes.
Yeah, Electabuzz is a pretty good electric type to just kind of plug into your team because he doesn't evolve, but he's got pretty good
plug in.
Pretty well, yeah, especially in the case of Elekid, where it literally has like prongs growing out of its head.
Yeah, I love Elekid's design. It's so adorable.
Yeah, Elekid is like I haven't used it often, and I'm not like super attached to Electabuzz or God forbid Electivire, but like
oof.
Elekid has a clean design.
Yeah,
always love that thing. It's very toyetic.
I love his counterparts in the other babies.
Oh yeah,
I feel like they're all like a squad, like him, Spoochum.
Poke babies.
Pretty much. I like them though. I feel like they're Gen 2's calling card.
Well, because they're okay. I like some of the baby Pokemon in Gen 2, just purely in terms of their design. Like Elekid, Magby, Smoochum, like those are all cool. Yeah. But like Igglybuff,
those don't need to be there.
Like those Pokemon were already like designed to be cute. Do we need like an even cuter version?
We have to go cuter.
They just feel like superfluous.
These Pokemon cutenesses go to 11.
Like with the other one, it kind of feels like they're fleshing them out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because Magmar and Electabuzz and Jinx are not like cute Pokemon, or they're not designed to be cute Pokemon. So having like a baby form of them is kind of novel. But like with Pichu and like those other ones, it's just like, well, the Pokemon that they're derived from are already cute, so they just feel kind of redundant.
If the Gen 2 games were made by current Game Freak, then we would have gotten Baby Charizard that's for some reason different than Charmander. but like it's there.
Baby Charizard. Oh. Yeah.
It's just a smaller Charizard with
it's like Chibi. He's like Scrappy Doo.
And a diaper.
You know what baby Pokemon I'm oddly attached to for like no discernible reason? Why Not from Gen 3.
Oh yeah.
I always love Why Not.
I too like its design. I like that it looks like it's wearing like a blanket. That's what I always thought.
Yeah.
Why Not does seem like a Joe Pokemon.
Uh-huh. Well, I mean, it's called Why Not, so...
It's true.
So, look at the level of this stinking Voltorb. This thing could annihilate me. This thing's level 40!
Oh my god!
I mean,
was that a random
regardless
encounter?
of its level, it could still annihilate you with just one move.
So, this is one of the few dungeons in the game, and I say few jokingly because the encounter rate in here is ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna see me edit out a bunch of wild battles because the encounter rate and the fact that you can just run into Voltorbs that look like items.
Oh yeah.
This dungeon's a bit of a pain to get through.
What is it with these old Nintendo games and like industrial dungeons that have just ridiculously high encounter rates?
Yeah.
Just like maze-like structure and annoying to get through.
Is that a Mother reference I detect?
Maybe.
Didn't Chrono Trigger have a Robo Dungeon kind of like that? Like the one where you get the robot companion?
You don't get... I don't... I don't think you get him in the dungeon. You might at like the beginning of it.
Yeah.
But see, Chrono Trigger is it doesn't really have annoying.
Congratulations, Trey, you got a bazit.
I know.
Chrono Trigger doesn't really have like annoying areas because it has a cool little trick called not random encounters.
Oh yeah,
does
they're
it?
overworld. Yeah.
Yeah, it has overworld encounters, which is part of why it's one of the best RPGs of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too bad they didn't
But-
put that on the Super Nintendo Classic, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
It still has some encounters that aren't like shown in the overworld, but they're like set spots that are specifically like ambushes by enemies.
Yeah. And they show
And
that
they're
off
not
really
like
early.
they don't just like happen randomly while you're exploring. Which
That's nice.
is part of why that game is actually like fun to explore around and stuff.
Yeah, that's one of the for me. That's one of the main turnoffs of like the old school Final Fantasy games. I'm really not big on like the way the overworlds of those games are, where like you're really not safe unless you're in a town.
Yeah.
Oh
Dragon
god.
Quest is like that too.
I mean, I guess
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of how Pokemon is, but at least with Pokemon, in the vast majority of cases, like okay, that grass over there is where the random encounters are,
Yeah.
so it
Well,
feels kind of avoidable.
I remember I played the first Final Fantasy game I ever like actually played, I think, was a demo for Final Fantasy 12 or something. 12 or 13 on the PS3.
Probably 13. 12 was a PS2 game.
Yeah, alright. I think it might have been like 13 or 13.2. It was just a demo on the PS3. And I know there are a lot of things that people complain about with that game, but the thing that actually turned me off, because I wanted to enjoy it, but the thing that turned me off immediately was just that it was this 3D game with nice graphics and all these like NPCs in the world and all that.
Pretty photorealistic for the most part.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I'm running around the overworld and it's just like random encounter. There's no enemy in the overworld.
Yeah.
Like a circle appears around you and like you get shunted into battle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like
Oh.
you can only really get away with that sort of thing if your visuals are stylized to a degree, or like really abstracted.
Yeah, and it's like I remember they had some kind of system in it where it was like the in-game tutorial told me about like, oh yeah, there's like a little indicator if you're like going to get into a random battle, and you can like, if you have good reaction, you can like avoid the battle before it starts by like pressing a button or doing something. And my thought was just like, what? It's very clear from this that they know that people don't want to be getting into these random battles if they give you an option specifically to avoid these. So
Yeah.
why not just like make them, I don't know, put them in the overworld? You have these 3D models already,
Yeah.
and like the animations and everything.
It may have been like if it was a PS2 game, like a RAM deficiency. But if it's a PS3 game, like they could
Yeah.
surely like use
Like,
that.
yeah, like if it's a PS3 game, you don't really, or at least do something that's like, I don't know, commit to something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So I've ran into like, I don't know, a bajillion Voltorbs at this point, and I've displayed some of them just opening the fight with what do you call it, explosion or self-destruct. These things have been trolling me pretty hard.
Trey, are you paralyzed?
It's just thinking about his life choices.
Do you need a
Yeah.
paralyzed heal so you can move again?
Yeah, I need a... I don't know what I was doing there. Oh, there was the infamous Cerebi on top of the screen again.
The peak.
Yeah. So,
I think this dungeon actually has an interesting. I mean, it has the like normal random encounters, but it has an interesting kind of like play on the on like making encounters that are kind of they're unexpected, not random, because like they've got all these items that have the Pokeball sprite, but then there's also like now Pokemon in the dungeon that look like Pokeballs, so they kind of look like the item sprite. So you'll be going up to an item, hoping to get an item, and then it's actually a battle.
Yeah, every time you go after one, you're kind of like rolling the dice to see if you get into a battle. That's a cool I mean, I know Voltorb is basically just like the mimic of the Pokemon series, but...
Yeah.
You know.
I actually never thought of it that way.
Yeah. It's still kind of a neat twist on the concept.
Yeah, they bring that back in Gen 5 with Fungus and Amoongus.
Fungus.
Mm-hmm. Can you encounter Electrode in this dungeon via the item balls?
I don't know. I know there's wild ones. I don't know if they're in the item balls, though.
Mm-hmm. Because Electrode would actually be kind of scary, because that thing's fast.
So, this Magneton, I wanted to add to my party.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Thank
crust.
Gen 1 best gen.
Listen, all you Gen 1ers out there, this is inexcusable. One line of code, that's all it took.
Now this is real Pokemon.
Well, to be fair, this does also happen in Gen 2, and Gen 2 is objectively flawless in every way, so...
You're right.
I'm glad we're in agreement.
Looks at Syndicate.
Yeah, but like when it happened in Gen 2, it was alright, because like they did it with a purpose.
Yeah, they in Gen 1 it was just like a programming error, but in Gen 2, like they kept it in on purpose.
Yeah, it was intentional.
What are we talking about?
Oh yeah, I guess you can encounter. Yeah.
Oh no. Hang on,
1
Tubbs.
HP.
Tank it, Tubbs. There we go.
Yeah, he's tough. He can take it. Plus, he got the experience for it. Honestly, like, even though these battles have been annoying, I've been leveling pretty well in this dungeon. Oh, yeah, Tubbs just got his best move. Buddy Sleep.
Mm-hmm. Good fit for him. Because not only is it a good stab move for Snorlax, but it also has a chance to paralyze. Which is good for a slow-moving Pokemon like Snorlax.
You know what would have made this game even better? If Pokemon took up inventory slots in your bag.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
I mean, technically, you can only carry 6 of them.
Hey, it's a pigeon.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if you walked up to that? Because it looks like a Psyduck or something.
Yeah.
Oh no, what have you done?
What?
Wait, you're not going to battle it?
No, not now.
Oh, okay.
You can come back for him.
Okay, because I was going to say, you exited the end of the dungeon and it puts you out through the front door.
Yeah.
So
as long as you don't fight them, they'll stay there.
Right, but I was just saying now you have to go back all the way through that dungeon again.
Yep.
But at least they got all the items out of the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd like to do that when I'm playing Pokemon, just as kind of an excuse to keep my leveling my team. Just try to explore every area that I can.
Yeah.
At the earliest point possible.
That's kind of the reason I did it too. It's like 1 to fill up the Pokedex, 2 to showcase the dungeon, and 3 I want some electric mons, you know.
Mm. That is one thing I do enjoy about like the idea of HMs is just giving your Pokemon ways to unlock like more of the world like gradually as you play.
Yeah,
because that's a good way to make you feel like a sense of kind of like a Zelda or like Metroid sort of thing, where the stronger you get, the more areas you can explore.
Yeah,
just makes you feel more like accomplished.
So
it's just too bad you have to overwrite useful moves in order to teach your Pokemon HMs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Goodbye, Tackle. Have strength. I mean, Gen 1 had a very limited move set, so some of the HMs were alright to have.
Yeah, Gen 1
but
is
also
definitely
a lot
not...
of the,
like the mechanical way that you activate them by like going into the menu is pretty annoying, but the moves themselves aren't... Like, I would say... I think we already had this conversation, but 2.5 of them are pretty useful moves to have.
Mm-hmm. Is Flash the half?
Trey, I think you know the answer deep in your heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's I would say there's 3.
Deep in the heart of the Pokemon cards.
Fly is half, but Fly's also a very strong flying move.
That takes 2 moves to execute.
Yeah, but you're immune for 1 turn.
Well,
So, like, to me, that makes up for it.
Are there any Pokemon moves that counter Fly, like how the Earthquake or whatever counters Dig?
Hurricane, I think, does.
I'm surprised Thunder doesn't.
But Hurricane didn't come about until, like, Gen 5, I want to say, so...
Who learns Hurricane?
I think, like, the Swan Pokemon... I'm just completely spitballing here. I apologize. I don't know. I just remember that that's a move.
I figured that'd be, like, Lugia or something. But his is, like, Aero Blast.
Nah, it's just the Swan.
It's
just the pigeon Pokemon.
Yeah, this graceful-looking Pokemon can summon a fucking tropical tsunami.
Meanwhile, Lugia isn't even a water type. And it's supposed to be, like, the king of the sea.
Yeah. He's got them big yowie hands, man.
Actually, now that I think about it, wasn't Lugia... Oh, hey, Electabuzz.
Yeah.
That's actually not a bad sprite for Gen 1.
Oh, yeah.
I think I read somewhere that Lugia, and this might not be, like, 100% confirmed, but I think Lugia might have been partially created specifically for the second movie. Because they wanted to... They didn't quite have, like, a ton of Pokemon from Gen 2 done yet. But they wanted to do another movie. But they didn't have any other legendary Pokemon besides, like, Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres to, like, focus the movie on. So they were like... So, we don't want to portray any of these as, like, stronger than the others, so we need, like a master of the trio. So could you make, like, a new Pokemon that's like that? And again... I don't remember if this is confirmed or, like, who revealed this information, but, like, if so, that's kind of interesting, because usually all of the Pokemon, like, come from the games first.
So he was one created specially for the movie.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I mean, it kind of works, even though the story of the second movie is kind of bonkers.
Well, I would say... I haven't seen either movie in years, but I would say I like the idea of the first movie more, but I think the second one is executed better. Like, it's not quite as, like, lofty in its thematic ambitions.
It's a little bit more epic.
But it does, you know... It does do what it sets out to do a little more...
Yeah. Now, if you want a good story...
A little more better.
Yeah. You gotta watch the third one with Entei. That's a good...
Yeah, that one was pretty good.
Like that
one
surprised
when we watched just on a whim, we watched that Pokemon movie with what was it started with an M.
Manaphy?
Manaphy, yeah.
Yeah, they were streaming that movie. They were streaming all of the Pokemon movies on Twitch in like 2016, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was to commemorate like some anniversary.
Yeah. That was a nice wholesome movie.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see what I nicknamed Electabuzz? The wonderful thing about Electabuzz.
T-I-double-G-U-R. That spells
I was gonna make a comment about how I looked at the tail and I immediately thought Tigger.
Is he supposed
But then
Okay, that's literally the first time in my life I've ever associated Electabuzz with a tiger, and now I feel stupid.
He is kind of cat-like.
I was gonna comment on it, but I was like, no, that's stupid and irrelevant.
Although, if Electabuzz is supposed to be a tiger, that's kind of out there.
Yeah, he's kind of like a squat-looking tiger.
Uh-huh. Well, I kind of like that, though, you know? I've never really been too big a fan of those Pokemon that are just, like... It's just, like, a cool-looking, elemental-themed, like, real-world animal.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I like the ones that are a little more, like, what is this thing?
You said monstrous a couple episodes ago.
Yeah. And Electabuzz fits the bill, in my opinion.
Yeah. Him and Magmar both, honestly. They're both just kind of like beasts.
Yeah. Especially Magmar.
Yeah. Although Magmar always kind of had like the fire duck thing for me. Like, he always seemed like a duck to me.
Well, yeah, but again, they like really expanded on that like base idea, though. And kind of made him into its own unique thing. So here we go. Time for our first legendary Pokemon.
Yeah. He's not an easy fight either.
Yeah.
Those wings are not meant for flying.
No.
It looks like a bird that's just exploding.
Oof, that sprite didn't turn out too good.
No. His back sprite is actually a lot cooler.
Uh-huh.
Like, it fits a little better.
Now, generally, I don't like to use legendary Pokemon on my team, but, like, back when I was a kid, I did, because I was terrible at these games.
I want the strongest.
And I think Zapdos was always my favorite to use. Like, I just feel like he had the best stats and moves.
Yeah. To me, electric legendaries are okay. Like, for me personally, just because, like you said, like, they slot in real well, and they got them stats.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not going to fault anybody for like using the Pokemon that they like. I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of just like, oh, I'm going to plug a Pokemon into my team at the last minute because I don't have anything to cover for it.
You like to plan for it.
Like, I like to have my whole team coming together by like the 5th or 6th gym, just so it's not like, I'm not adding anybody in at like the 11th hour. The one exception I can think of was in White 2, where I added a Vanillux to my team, like, right before the Pokemon League.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, Vanillux is actually pretty good. I appreciate Vanillux.
Yeah. Well, hey, it's good when you gotta fight a champion who uses Dragon types.
Yeah. So, all the Pokeball or Ultra Balls I've thrown at this thing have missed. That was the thing in Gen 1. You could just miss with the ball.
Wait.
Yeah?
Electabuzz, you got this.
Yeah. I love how he's like putting his dukes up too. He's like, I'll fight him.
Is his health too high? Like, is that why you're missing?
Yeah, his health is just too high. It has to be. I think it has to be in the red for legendaries.
That's bizarre. Well, we gave it our best.
Don't worry, I'm sure you, my flying type Pokemon, can defeat this electric type legendary.
Well, we gotta try
round
again.
2. I don't think we'll try this part, but he pissed me off enough that I wanted to get him.
Yeah, that's what we're in for when we try to do this for real.
I like how Zapdos just like kicked your butt and then took your money.
Oh yeah, have we addressed that yet? This and Gen 2 are the only Pokemon games where you lose half of your money when you game over.
Yeah, no matter what, if it's trainer or the other.
Which, like, you're not super reliant on money in these games, for the most part, but that's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
And also, I think Gen 1 is... It might be the only Pokemon game where there's actually just a finite amount of money.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, because you can't refight trainers.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Which is something that I thought about when I first played, and it, like, shook me to my core, but I never actually acted on it, because I didn't really, like, lose enough for that to become an issue.
Well, and you played
but
Fire Red.
The possibility of it just, like, concerned me.
Right, but you played Fire Red, and in that game you have the Versus Seeker that you can use to re-challenge trainers.
Yeah, I think
well, I didn't...
No, that's not... That can't be true, because you can always go back and refight the Pokemon League.
I guess, well, but, like, before you get to the Pokemon League...
Yeah.
Oh.
I know for a fact that in Gen 1 you can soft lock yourself if you just, like, run out of money and sources of money before the Safari Zone.
You just gotta learn how to defeat Blue with just a Magikarp. Or Rattata.
There are videos out there like that.
Yeah.
I recently watched one recently where a guy takes on the entirety of what is it? I think it's Emerald version with he hacked in, not a Wynot, what's the Wobbuffet? He hacked in a Wobbuffet.
Oh yeah.
And it basically turned into a struggle fest.
Oh no.
Well, I know there was a strat for just like sweeping with a Magikarp in I don't remember which game it was, or if it was multiple games, but you could sweep with a Magikarp. I don't think the level really mattered. If you used Rain Dance to get its speed up, and then had a Focus Sash on to get it down to 1 HP, and used Flail.
Yeah.
I think it was Flail that gets stronger the lower your HP is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay,
And
yeah,
then
that
you can
makes
just
sense.
sweep a team with that. You could sweep the Elite Four and the Champion with that.
Yeah.
I think.
I've seen that strat before. It's ridiculous.
Well, the one I had seen was the Rattata strat where you use the
Yeah,
Focus
that too.
Sash and then use Endeavor,
Yeah.
which always does oh wait, no, it lowers your opponent's health to what yours is, and then it uses Quick Attack to outspeed his opponent, and you can have Rattata kill an Arceus using that.
Yeah, just with mechanics. I like that.
Balance. And thus balance is achieved.
Yep.
Well, Catch Quest will continue, boys and girls, next time.
Look forward to it.